Away we go, everyone. Welcome to the path to prosperity. It's 3 steps to attract abundance in all areas of your life. I'm Bob Baker. And who is this sitting next to me?
I'm Pookie Lee.
This is my wife.
Oh,
That's
you really
Coyote.
can't see him
Yeah, he's
back
kind
there.
of in the background there, our terrier. But we've been a couple actually coming up in December. We've been a couple for 19 years, but married less than 2 of those years. So we wanted
Make
to,
sure it was right.
we just had no really reason to. But so we're going to actually reveal these 3 steps. We've actually decided to use the alphabet. I'm calling this the ABC path to a prosperous life. Here, I'll share this image right here. There we go. It's the path to prosperity, 3 steps to attract abundance in all areas of your life. And so before we dive into this, I got a little video clip I want to show here in just a minute. And then we're going to go through these 3 areas that really kind of reflect what Pookie and I've done throughout our lives, both as a couple and as individuals. So if you found out about this through my email, then it's going to reflect something that you probably already read. But life is really good for me and us right now. Got a great relationship with
Funny.
my daughter, with my dog. Life is good. A great circle of friends. And I've just done a lot of cool things over the years. I've published 16 books over the last 30 years. I teach and perform improv, an art form that I'm very passionate about. Got a show coming up on Friday, and my YouTube channel just hit 400,000 subscribers, which I'm really thrilled about. We had a party had over 25 people come to this little outdoor party that we had, and so a lot of things are going really well, but it all wasn't always that way. Both Pookie and I come from pretty humble beginnings. I was raised by a single mom, and she did a wonderful job raising me. But for whatever reason, I was a very shy kid, lacked a lot of confidence, got picked on at school. My sense of self-worth was just really low in those early days. I had a pretty prominent stutter. It still comes up every now and then. I mentioned in the email that it's remarkable that I actually make a living with my voice, someone who used to stutter a lot. It was a friend of mine. I didn't mention this in the email, but in high school, I was going through a particularly rough patch. My friend Gary Miller said, "Hey, man, I can tell you're going through a tough time and you're struggling. I read this book recently. Maybe it'll help you too." It was a book by Wayne Dyer that came out back in the 70s. It's called Your Erroneous Zones. It was the first self-help book that I read, and it just like opened my eyes to a whole new way of thinking about my thoughts and my feelings, and like how I'm like a victim of my thoughts, that these things that I'm thinking about myself aren't truly who I am. If I could change my thoughts and actually take control of my life and live it the way that I want to. And that was the beginning of a long, personal growth journey where I gained confidence and ended up doing things that, if you would have asked the kids in grade school and high school, do you think this guy's ever going to be like in a rock band or ever have like a, yeah, well, if you would have asked them if I'd be an influencer online, they would go, "What are you talking about? It's the 70s, Bob. That's space age stuff." But yeah, I've done a lot of really cool, more extroverted things. But the thing is, I always felt that was the type of person that was inside wanting to come out, and I had this exterior shell of a lack of confidence and worth that was holding me back. And so over the years, I broke through that and was able to kind of follow my dreams and find my path. Pookie, you've got can probably tell a similar story about your upbringing.
Oh, well, yeah. My upbringing was very humble too, We had challenges as a family growing up, and I didn't have a dad as far as like I didn't have a male figure, a father figure in my life. So I was raised by a single mom. And so, I had also too, we moved around a lot. So I also had a lot of challenges when I was little of being able to make friends and being accepted by my peers and things like that. I didn't make friends easily because I seemed to always arrive at school at these really weird times. And I was always just a little strange, just like I still am today. Anyhow, so I didn't have a lot of self-confidence either, and I think that, but I know that there was like a spark inside of me that was alive that knew that there was something more, something that just kept love alive, or just a passion alive, or a desire, for something more, something different. And so in my lifetime, I've done all kinds of things. I've done a myriad of things. When I look back on my life, or just look back on pictures or like a life review or whatever, it's just amazing all the things that I've done, and how all those things led me to where I am today.
Mhm. So if you ever feel like in your life you're in a place where I'm just not living up to my full potential, or I thought I would be at this point in my life, we're here to help you along that path. And so I recalled this. I came up with this title actually a couple of weeks ago, "The Path to Prosperity: 3 Steps to Attract Abundance in All Areas of Your Life." And just yesterday, I'm a big fan of Louise Hay. She was a big proponent of affirmations, and some of you may know. Well, she published her self-published book, "You Can Heal Your Life," came out, I think, back in the 70s or something, and she actually founded her publishing company, Hay House, to put out that book, and eventually started putting out other authors, and it's pretty prominent in the kind of spiritual self-help, people like Wayne Dyer, who I just mentioned, and Deepak Chopra, Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks. Those are all Hay House authors. And I have an affiliation with them now. They're running some of my affirmations in their subscription app called Empower You. So, but I love Louise. And this is just a little clip, like 3 minutes from something that I found on YouTube just yesterday. I just want to share this it sets the stage of why we're talking about all areas of your life. So give me 1 second to cue this up. Where is she? All right, here we go. And
there's many, many other things that come under the auspices of prosperity. There's time and love and success and joy and comfort and beauty and wisdom and good health and money. You can be very poor in time. If you feel really rushed all the time and always pressured, you have poverty in your time. But if you feel that you have all the time in the world and that whatever you want to finish, you'll get done and it will all happen, then you're really prosperous in time. And what about success? If you feel that it's really way beyond your reach, then you're never going to get it. But if you feel that you can be successful, whatever that means to you, then that's wonderful. That's prosperity. Comfort. How many of you are prosperous in comfort? Or do you live lives that are really very uncomfortable and hard and tight? Wisdom. Do you have prosperity in wisdom? Do you feel that all the wisdom in the universe is available to you? Or do you think, oh, I'm just me and I don't know very much and, I can't figure things out? If you feel that you're really connected with the universe and you really trust that part of you that's inside, then you can be absolutely prosperous in the abundance of wisdom. And what about love? Do you feel that you have an abundance of love? Or are you very poor in love? Is there just a little bit of it in your life? How about joy? Do you feel you're really prosperous and have an abundance of joy? Or is that something you just allow yourself a little bit of now and then? And you really are very poor in joy. And then what about beauty? Do you see beauty everywhere? Do you allow yourself to experience an abundance of beauty? And what about good health? Do you have no health? Is there very little? Are you poor in good health? Or are you prosperous and do you have an abundance of good health? And of course there's money. What do you let yourself have? Are you poor in money or do you have an abundance of it? I like to use that image a lot of the ocean, standing in front of the ocean with a container in your hand. And you're there and you have this container, but what is it? Is it a thimble with a hole in it? Is it a small cracked cup? Is it a mug? Is it a vase? Is it a quart jar or a pail or a bucket or a wash tub? Or do you have a pipeline? And remember, no matter how much you have, whatever your container it is, and no matter how much you're taking from the ocean of life, and even though we're all standing there, we're not robbing each other, and there's plenty for everyone, and no matter how much we take, there is no way we're going to run that ocean dry. It's absolutely impossible.
there was a clip I wanted to show you because it ties right into what we're talking about.
So powerful.
So that,
Prosperity. Where are we wealthy and where are we poor?
yeah.
There's so many aspects of our life to look at.
I love that list, and like I said, what she used the word prosperity instead of abundance, and that was the title of this all along. So I wanted to share that with you because I couldn't have said it better myself. So that's what we're going to talk about. It's applying this concept of prosperity and abundance to all areas of your lives. But you can certainly apply it to money if that's something that you want to focus on. But why not expand it? Because you can have poverty thinking and poverty beliefs about all of those things. Yeah. Which is
Absolutely.
great. Joy, creativity, all the things that she talked about. So let's reveal, we're going to be doing the ABCs, or the ABC path to a prosperous life. Hence the 3 steps, the first 3 letters of the alphabet. And I think it's kind of interesting how we chose to use them. So let's reveal the first one, which is right here, A. That first one is allow and align. For each of these ways, we're gonna have 2 words. And I'm glad we kind of, yeah, it took us a while. We were playing around with different combinations, and I really like these ones that we came up with. So the first one is allow and align. If you're taking notes, feel free to write that down. And again, I'll be sharing a link with you pretty soon with the link to some of these notes, but it probably would help to write them down in addition to listening. So what does allow mean? Allow means allow yourself to pursue your dreams, and align means get in alignment with that dream. So a lot of aspects to this. So I'm just going to start off with some notes that I made here earlier that I shared with Pookie. Allow yourself to dream big. Allow yourself to explore what I think Deepak Chopra calls the field of infinite potentiality. Right? Because a lot of times we just go through life and we just accept our current existence. We sort of downplay any aspirations or inklings that we have. And so the first thing is allow yourself to dream big. What is your heart guiding you toward? Are you paying attention to what you're drawn to? And what's your response to those things? Are you immediately going, oh, no, I shouldn't pursue that? That's just a big pipe dream. I'm just going to stay in my little box here. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
What is your heart guiding you to? What is your deepest passion? I'm sure that you've heard this question posed before. If money wasn't an obstacle, what would you do? If you could choose to do anything in the world and you would be totally supported in whatever it is that you chose to do, what would that be? And a lot of times we can look back to our childhood and we can see things that we were really passionate about when we were younger.
I'm blessed in that a lot of things that I do now I can trace back to childhood. There were interests that I had pretty early on, going back to grade school. I know not everybody can do that. There's still people that are adults in their 40s going, I don't know what I'm meant to do. And I think there's probably have been clues along the way that maybe you just have been not really paying attention to.
But
But
what excites you? What gets you? What stirs your soul?
and that thing that you would do if you're independently wealthy and money was not an issue or an obstacle, what would you spend your time doing? And we can often think of what those things are, travel, and that doesn't mean you should drop everything and that's how you're going to make a living necessarily. You could be life. I believe that.
If it happens that way,
Yeah.
but it doesn't always
Yeah.
happen that way.
But even if not, that's a path to support yourself financially. Engage in that activity in some fashion because you're denying your soul's calling. There's probably some internal dissatisfaction. I'm not satisfying this urge that I have. So at least dabble in it.
Let's just say you love to ballroom dance. So then you start going out and ballroom dancing. When you start stirring up this whole thing with this love for dance, you have no idea where that's going to go. You have no idea who you're going to meet while you're out dancing. You'll have no idea the experience that you're going to have. You have no idea where your passion will lead you. So follow your deepest heart's calling, because whenever we do anything and we're happy and we have that passion about it, it shows. It's infectious. People can feel it.
I was just looking at some of the comments here. I know like going to be a lot coming in that we won't be able to get to. But earlier, Crystal, when we were talking about our childhood, I think she wrote, I was considered strange when I was younger. When I started to embrace it at 28, my life changed.
Right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome.
Radical self-acceptance.
Michelle said we can be the strange brew crew, the high vibe tribe, the strange brew crew.
And then Debbie says, I was very strange when I was younger.
I think I'm still strange when I'm older.
I'm pretty sure that my peers thought I was strange too because they couldn't figure out what I was. Is she white? Is she black? What is she? We don't know what she is.
That's right. Part Hawaiian.
And then, it was because it was just so confusing at that time. Anyhow.
And so just know that you are welcome here. This is like a no judgment zone. So come as you are, and we're going to embrace
We're all quirky.
quirks and all, for sure. So actually, I mentioned earlier, I can't remember, but regardless, we got married in April of 2023, and it was actually out in Los Angeles. And Michael Beckwith was the reverend who officiated our wedding. You may recognize that name, but he's been in the movie The Secret. He's been on Oprah and Ellen, and pretty high profile figure who we got to know like 15 years ago. Actually, Pookie, you're probably going to tell a story about that, how we know him. But he has this quote here that's next on my list, and it is, "What is seeking to emerge through and as you?" That's a great question to ask, especially like when you're struggling. You go, "Why am I struggling?" And he thinks that it's a sign that something is seeking to emerge through you. So that's a great question to ask yourself. What is seeking to emerge through and as you? I like both of those words.
I do too.
Yeah, because there is, and that's all a part of, again, and another phrase that I've used a lot is that I'm a creative person myself, musician, I'm an artist, I'm a writer. In my earliest books, I mentioned that I published 16 since 1993. My earliest books were geared for musicians and creative people on marketing, but I'm dealing with creative people, and they're a special sort of breed of people that really kind of are more sensitive because they're not making a widget, that they're selling or promoting. It's something that's a true expression of who they are. And so they just put a lot more pressure on themselves than maybe some other. And so, but a lot of people are always looking outside of themselves for things to justify their worthiness, like looking for awards or compliments or something. And it's great to get those things. Gosh, I'm touting the fact that I hit 400,000 subscribers, And so there's nothing wrong with those, but you have to give yourself permission to succeed. Give yourself permission to live the life of your dreams. That's part of that allow part. Allow and align. Allow yourself to experience that and to at least experiment and pursue it and test it out. And then you align with that thing. So once you've done this exploration, you've listened to those instincts, those urges within you, and you probably find you have a lot of interests, right? But there's got to be, if there's something that's standing out, ideally, you would decide on a clear vision of what you want. Get really clear about it. Because for me, at times, it was playing in a band. That was something that was really important to me. And I had a vision of that I held on to. And then I ended up playing full time for a while in my 20s. I had this vision on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day of 19 to this crazy notion of publishing a local music newspaper here in St. Louis when I had no previous experience. On paper, it was like a really bad idea because I had no clue how to do it. But it was something that was pulling me and drawing me, and I pursued it, and I ended up doing that for 10 years. And so many blessings came my way that I could never have imagined just with that initial idea. But pursuing that thing, it really led to my books being published too. Set me up to know about editing and layout and design, which helped me publish my own books years later. I had aspirations to publish a book. So I just kind of held on to these things and took little baby steps. So let me ask you, put in the chat there, what is a vision that you have, something that you have been aspiring to do and maybe putting on the back burner? Maybe you've taken some steps, but especially if it's something that you haven't, like you've been thinking about it for years, I would like to know what some of those things are. Yeah, Lisa loves that phrase. Let's see, wait, two people. Jacqueline, hi, welcome, Jacqueline. I said, my daughter's an artist, writer, musician. I so respect her. Oh, wow, I have a lot in common with her. Yeah, a lot of times creative people dabble, it just isn't limited to one discipline.
Right.
So Lisa's putting in here, and Lisa Shepard works with us, and she just recently celebrated not only a birthday, but her 2-year anniversary of working with us.
Yeah, Lisa, go Lisa.
Yeah, but she says her to be a motivational speaker, life coach. Carmen, hi Carmen, says opening a resale shop. Joe wants to create an online course. Crystal saying go, Lisa. Yeah. So keep putting them in there. And by typing that into the chat here, just even though we're on Zoom, you are putting it out into the universe. You're doing something, bringing it into the physical and digital world.
There you go. My artwork with Debbie.
Yeah. I know she's an artist and creative
person.
So that's really cool. And we, for a couple of years now, have been talking about, well, we all have interests that we are, things that we have a variety of things that we're interested in that are pulling us there. But I've always found in my life, and I think Pookie can too, when you choose one primary goal at any particular time, a particular season in your life as your primary goal, it really helps you focus your efforts and you can make progress. Because there was a time when I was spreading myself too thin. I was publishing a local music newspaper. I was playing in bands. I was acting in plays. I was doing stand-up comedy. Every now and then I do some acrylic painting and visual art. I was creatively very fulfilling, but man, I was just not any. None of them was gaining traction because they were all kind of getting pieces of me, my time and attention. And and then it was in the late 90s when I decided, okay, I have to focus on something. And plus my daughter was born in 1996. Yeah. And so I had more responsibilities. And I said, I have to choose something that I'm going to pour all my energy into. And what's that overlap? At the time I wanted to make a living from it too. So what's that thing that I'm passionate about that I could do for a long time, that I'm good at, and that has the potential to eventually earn and support me and my child. And I chose books. I chose the route of being an author, and I used this new thing called the internet and just worked. I had a full-time job, had my daughter half the time. She was a toddler, but I worked nights, weekends, and just poured myself into spreading my message about my books on the internet. And in 2004, I was able to quit the last day job I'll ever have and do this. So I did have to choose one thing. I still did some of the other stuff, but I was focused on that goal at that time in my life. You did a similar thing with the choir, or anything else that you want to add?
Well, what I want to say is that the other important thing to remember is that whatever it is that you're choosing to focus on, you don't have to commit the rest of your life to it.
Right.
Right. There's so many things that we get to do in this lifetime. And so maybe this is just the thing that you're focusing on now. Maybe this is just where you're giving it your attention now. And maybe you will be with this creation for a year, 2 years, 10 years. We just don't know, right? Because we really don't know where any of it's going to take us. But if we're following our heart, always be led to the most beautiful places. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So
that specific goal might be an extension, like it's really tied to a mission. So like you need to know what your mission is, not the specific goals. If your mission is to uplift and inspire people, which I know my mission is to inspire and uplift humanity, one positive thought and one inspired action at a time. But a lot of people have that mission, to help other people and make them feel better. There are many ways that you can do that. You can do that through a book. A YouTube channel is one way to do that. So you're not stuck with the goal. There are many expressions, ways for you to serve that mission. And you should have maybe one primary goal. I'm going to focus on a book this year or the next 6 months. I'm going to focus on building my YouTube channel. I could tell you.
I want to focus on me, on my health. So then what are the steps that I need to take, And so there's all kinds of things that you can focus on. Everything doesn't have to be like for the world. Sometimes we need to focus on things for ourselves. And that's really, really important because we always think that, the more noble thing is to do something for the world. And really, truly, sometimes the more noble thing is to do something for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that you can do something for the world. Right. So we have to make sure that our cup is full. So it's okay to have those kinds of passions and desires, like a passion for impeccable health, and a passion for good, strong relationships, compassionate, supportive, open communication relationships.
So some other people are putting their goals in here. Angela says, I recently opened my music recording studio management business. Oh, cool.
Awesome, Angela.
I wonder if you're familiar with my music marketing work over the years, dating back to the 90s. Michelle says, I've always wanted to make unique items. I strive to be unique. Also want to help people who feel stuck in the moment. Pookie's live really resonates with me today. Yeah, she's a good role model there for sure.
I have more coming on that, how to get unstuck.
Jacqueline is writing a series of children's books about the story of Joy, the community feral cat. Oh, that's funny. Joy, the community feral cat. Went to share at schools, book circles, coloring books, puzzles. That's awesome. Of course, Cherie, we just saw on Sunday.
We were celebrating 400,000 subscribers.
Continue doing my photography and artwork and inspiring others to spread their wings with photography or other art. And Debbie wants to inspire people with disabilities.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
That is awesome. And Crystal says, I can inspire others by following my own path. Yeah. Sometimes I feel a little, I've been pretty public out there, like sharing my wins and things that I've accomplished. And sometimes I think, and maybe there are people that might go, he's just bragging or something, but I really do it. Some of it is kind of a little marketing tactic or whatever. But I want to serve as an example of what's possible for people. I go a little overboard. Some people are like, I can't believe you do all that stuff. And sometimes I feel the same way.
I know. He spoke about some proposition to me today.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like,
It sounds like a lot of work.
hey, I just don't see you having any spare time.
Yeah. Yeah. Angela, if you Google Bob Baker music marketing, you'll find maybe some of my older. I don't do a whole lot in that realm right now, but I can also send you a link if you want to reach out to me. But do you want to talk about this, what the importance of gratitude at this early stage?
Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, so when I was sitting here and I was thinking myself about the three most important things for prosperity and abundance in our lives, and we cannot go one moment longer without speaking about gratitude and how gratitude is so important. It really is a cornerstone to our opening up to abundance and wealth and prosperity and all of the things, right? Because gratitude is a state of being. And when we move into states of gratitude, we are expressing how grateful we are for the things that we have. And it is so important, that we have this grateful spirit. That grateful spirit allows us to experience joy. It allows us to experience love, and these higher vibrations and frequencies. So gratitude is so important that we're grateful for the things that we have and excited for more, however, so grateful for where we are.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
It is one of the foundational things.
It is. It's a pillar.
Which is why it's part of a program that we have called the Personal Transformation Matrix. Let's go ahead and we just kind of take a look at everybody here. If you're enjoying this, give me a thumbs up. Give me a little okay, awesome sauce. Here, I know not everybody has their cameras on, but that's a-okay. And so I've been talking about this a lot in recent weeks, and I'm going to mention it a couple times here during our workshop here. But we do have a program that's called the Personal Transformation Matrix. We like to call it the life-changing, also known as, I should say, the Heal, Activate, Connect process. And this is something that Pooki and I have been working on and talking about for over 2 years now. And over the summer, I spent weeks actually editing together different videos that we've done over the years about this process that we have put together. And the way I described it the other day when I was really enthusiastically talking about it is that, like I said, I've been a student of personal growth since high school, right? And I've just read the books, I've gone to the workshops, I soaked up all the stuff. I tried this, I tried that. And you can do that. Everybody eventually has to find their own path, right? But I think what we discovered is that if you put these elements, these practices together in the right order, you get the results a lot quicker. Like you make more progress, because sometimes you'll jump into doing like taking action or doing, I don't know, meditating or whatever it is. But if you put that before another process, you could be awkward for a while. You'll eventually find your way, but we like to think that we put these together in the right order. And so it's another 3-step process. It's not alphabetical like this, but it's called Heal, Activate, and Connect. And we want to make it so that you could fit into your busy schedule, so they start to feel better, see some tangible results, so that it would be long lasting. Like wouldn't get the workshop high and then move on, And so this is a course that you can sign up for at any time. And it's all short video lessons. We don't overwhelm you with 10-15 hours of stuff. They're little bite-sized steps, and there's action steps and some worksheets that come with each section. But you can sign up at any time. It's self-guided. But we made what's called a community version. I know some people call it cohort. We don't really like that word. It just sounds very
so that's just an awkward word, honey. Can we not use that word?
So
find another word to explain what we're doing. But cohort is just a very difficult word to say.
It just means you're moving through it at the same time with other people,
Right.
So instead of doing it
like community support or community sharing, or
I call it
something like that.
The community version. I think
I like that.
A nice fuzzy
that
form.
Sounds so much better than cohort.
So
that's just me though.
So it's going to start this coming Monday, the 28th is the first day of a 28-day period. We'll spend a week on Heal, we'll spend a week on Activate, a week on Connect, and then a final week just kind of piecing it all together and making sure everybody's staying on track. And there's a lot of benefits that come with it. And the thing that's really important to know about today is that for ever since we started announcing this, we've had an early bird discount coupon. You can use if you sign up and use it's PTM 100. So PTM.
they're here tonight, I know this is going to make a big problem.
Probably.
That if they're here tonight and they want to sign up, they give them 24 hours, babe.
Okay, some extra time.
Yeah, give them extra
It
time
actually-
rather than just like 2 hours.
Well, I think it actually does go through the 23rd. I'm announcing the
Okay.
22nd, but I think
All
yeah.
right.
But if you sign up tomorrow and it's not working, let us know and we'll give you that.
Yeah, if you're here and you decide that I really want to do this, then yeah.
But don't wait too long. If you're going to do it, just get it out of the way and go ahead and do this for yourself. But yeah, so PTM 100. And so actually, Lisa, go ahead and pop in. Lisa has a link, a page that I set up, right? Basically took our notes here. They're just bullet points. They don't flesh out everything, but it has all of our notes on these 3 aspects. And also it has more details on the program right under those notes. And so try to grab that while we're here. She just posted it in there. You can look at it later or read it, but that has all the information and the code and all that stuff. But really, we'll hope that you'll join us. You get access to 6 months membership in our High Vibe Tribe online community. There's a discussion forum there. We have extra Zoom calls dedicated to the program. So it's a lot better than just doing it on your own, so you get the support and you get our guidance, all that good stuff. I have in my notes here to take a group photo, but I'm noticing if there's anyone who wants to just temporarily turn on their video, you don't have to, but I'm going to take a little group photo of our gathering here. So,
All right, it's all good.
yeah. So Hillary or Michelle or anybody. Oh,
there we go.
Oh, we get to see you. Yay.
All right, there we go. Perfect.
Let's just give anybody else a chance. Looks like Hillary might be trying to do something there. Can't tell.
It's all good.
All right, I'm going to do a screenshot here. We'll do like 2 or 3 of these. So do whatever you need to do to primp.
So cute. Everybody, you all look fabulous.
Vogue, strike a pose. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Big smiles.
Oh my gosh, he looks so cute. Look at him.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and eyes open. Big smile. All right. You think we got? I think we probably got them with those 2. All right, great.
Aww.
Thank you so much. All right, are you ready for the next letter of the alphabet? We need to get
Go for it, babe.
Get on track here. And again, grab that link so you can look at it later. See, here we go. All right. So we've covered the A. It's allow and align. What is B? It is believe and become. Part of the ABC path. Believe and become. So what the heck does that mean? So now that you've kind of given yourself permission to explore and you've identified what's seeking to emerge, you've got that clear, bold vision. Probably going to be some fear coming up. Oh my God, I've never done this before, right? So there's 2 aspects of this. You need to invest time and energy into strengthening in your belief that it can happen. This doesn't come naturally. You're not born. Oh God, I wasn't born. I certainly wasn't born with the confidence gene, or the extrovert gene. And so it's something that you have to strengthen. And just because you have some fear or uncertainty around it does not mean that, oh, I'm not meant to take this path. Don't let that stop you, right? So affirmations are a big part of that. I mean, there's many things that you can do to improve your belief. One is to affirm them. I don't like this term fake it till you make it, because faking it, I don't know, it just sounds like it's not genuine. But I do like the term act as if. So act as if until you get there, or keep moving forward. Don't let it stop you. I'm not talking about being boastful or acting like you're somebody that you're not, but just affirm, I can do this. But anybody who pursues anything that's worthy is going to come up against that inner critic. Sometimes even outer critics, your family, your friends might be telling you, oh man, why are you doing that? Who do you think, but our inner critic is the one that stops us.
Because that's the one that goes to bed with us at night.
We sleep with
it's like, yeah, it's like talking to us as we're going to sleep. You can't do that. What are you thinking?
You're going to embarrass yourself.
Right.
All these things that
keeps you up at night.
So when you feel that resistance, which is totally normal, one thing that you can do, actually, I remember Joe, who has done some sessions with our High Vibe Tribe group. I know he talked about this once, where change it. If saying I'm abundant, I'm confident doesn't feel authentic, just ask yourself a softer question. Like, what if I did put a book out? What if I did go to audition for a play? Wow, what would that be like? Start softening it and entertaining. If you're not feeling like I am Superman, just go like, what if I bought a cape? put it on. What if I did step into the closet and come out and, I mean, come out of the closet in my Superman outfit, you know?
I would like to see that.
Yeah, I think I've done it. I had a Superman t-shirt, right? But what if just kind of just start loosening it up around the edge, like ease your way into it instead of just writing it off. I can't do, So it doesn't come naturally, and it takes time to build up that belief and that confidence in yourself. And even though this next phase that we're going to talk about, the third step is really where the action comes in. Quite often, you just have to start taking those baby steps without totally feeling it. Many times I go, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this or why I'm doing this, but I just feel like I'm going to make that call. I'm going to show up at the open mic or whatever. And believe me, I did stand-up comedy, and I went to open mics in the early days, and I remember just shaking. I mean, my body was literally shaking before I went up, and they called me up. And, some of those early performances were pretty lousy, but I kept going back and learning and recording myself and listening back and going, oh, that was really bad. Oh, that joke got a laugh. Okay, I'm going to tweak this. And you just keep going back and doing it, and you slowly gain confidence over time.
Yeah, you have to do it badly first. It's like you have to get out there and get past this whole idea of it has to be perfect before I can do it. No, it's never going to be. If you're looking for perfection before you even get out of the gate, you're never going to get out of the gate. You just have to do it. You just do it badly. And when you do it badly, you learn from it. You learn what worked and what didn't work, and you can build off of that because you've got something that you can build off of. And so like I have so many people, they want to start a YouTube channel or whatever. And I said, well, make your first video. And they're like, oh my gosh, I could never. And then how do you expect to have a YouTube channel if you're not willing to make a video? And like, oh, but I want to make sure that it's perfect and it's all good. Well, no, you do it first and you do it badly first. And then you watch the video and you go, oh yeah, I can tell when I do this, that's not a good thing to do. Or yeah, I should keep doing that. But this is how you learn. So do it first and do the first thing fast. First fast.
Don't ask me to critique a YouTube channel until you've done at least 20 videos. So believe and become. What does we mean by become? So you have to embody the person who is capable of, who deserves and capable of achieving that goal. So there's a couple things here, and these are related to it. You may have heard this phrase, or maybe you haven't, called think from the end. So think from the end. Project yourself into the future. Imagine that you've got that goal. What would that feel like? And Neville Goddard, one of my favorite quotes from him is, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Again, all these notes and bullet points are in that link that Lisa posted earlier. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. What does that mean? It means feel the sense of victory, the sense of pride, the sense of how are you serving people when whatever that goal is.
The thrill, the excitement, the infinite joy.
And don't observe it. Sometimes, and I've done this too, if you can picture in your mind, not everybody can visualize pictures in their mind, but if you think of yourself, sometimes you're an observer watching yourself, which that can be good, but actually be in your body, looking out through your eyeballs at the situation. Again, I'll come back to books because it's something I'm familiar with. But if you're sitting at a table doing a book signing, and there's a line of people, you're looking through your eyes up at them, or you're on stage accepting a Grammy or an award of some kind, or you're performing as an actor or a musician on stage and looking out at the crowd. What does that feel like? Oh my God, that's amazing! And the adrenaline's pumping.
See it in your mind.
Yeah.
So many scientific studies have talked about the power of visualization, right? And seeing a thing as it's happening, right? Seeing the outcome that you desire. It's so powerful. And so in this believe and become, I like to think about, so as I'm looking at what it is that I want to create, I ask myself the question, who must I become in order to experience that which I'm calling in? Right? Who must I become in order to experience that which I desire? And then that goes back to the alignment. I need to align myself with my desire. Right. And so if I don't have what it is that I'm seeking right now, then there's a misalignment. And so there's something that I must become. There's something that I must know. There's some way that I must grow. There's something within me that needs to evolve. And that's really what we begin to focus on is what is that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I remember in my earlier years of personal growth, reading different books from successful people. I remember hearing this, it's not what you think, you get who you are. And I heard this talk about you have to become the person. And I remember thinking, yeah. I'm flipping through the pages. Just tell me what to do. Where's the easy button? You know, give me what's the words
What's
I
the
need to use?
formula?
Yeah, who do
Tell
I
me
need?
the
Who do I need to call?
what do I need to say? In what order?
But more and more, I'm realizing, oh, yeah, it is becoming that thing. Now, here's another way to look at it. Ask yourself a series of questions, whatever your goal is. You've identified your big, bold, bodacious goal, right? And a lot of you have shared them here. When you think about
I
pursuing
love
that
them.
thing, ask yourself, why do you want that goal?
Your why is everything because your why is what you're going to fall back on when it gets hard. When it really get tough, like when you're having to fight just to stay in it, your why is what's going to keep you going.
Now, your why is probably tied into in what the context of what Pookie's talking about is your mission. That's going to come down to like I want to get that book out because the bigger purpose is I want to inspire and uplift people. I want to share my experience. I want to let people know they're not alone. I had art adorned in people's walls and improve their lives when they smile when they walk by it. So those are you're tied into your mission. But I wanted you to think of this other question: how will accomplishing this thing make you feel? So I talked about this, I think, on the workshop I did on Saturday too. Like if you're wanting more money, well, why do you want the money? Well, because I can pay my bills. So why do you want to pay your bills? So you keep asking a series of questions, and each one you get down further and further to the root of why, how will accomplishing this thing make you feel? And it might come down to security with money. I just want to feel secure, or I just want to feel freedom. Somebody posted that, which I thought was great. I mean, I want to have a romantic partner. And why? You keep asking those questions, and it might start off with, well, I want to have somebody to go to weddings with or dance with, when you get down to it, I just feel a connection with another human being.
Right. Well, think about that whole thing about saying freedom, right? As if they had started with money and then they get all the way down to it. And then the real reason that they want all this money is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But if you talk to people that have a lot of money, ask them how much freedom they have.
Right.
We have these ideas about what these things will bring us. And if we really take a look at what's out there, we can actually see. So it's just something to pay attention to.
And I think when you identify what is the feeling that I'm going to get by the acquiring of this thing, it's not the thing itself, it's how is it going to make you feel. Once you've identified that, start asking yourself, when have I felt that way in other situations in my life? When have I experienced freedom? Or when have I experienced security? Or when have I experienced connection? And start thinking about those things. And basically, what I'm saying here, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Start feeling that now, feeling the benefit of having reached your goal, or feel the emotion of the thing your goal is going to give you. And when you vibrate at that now, even though you don't have that specific thing, you're in a much better position to not only attract it, but to pursue it, to interact with other people who you're going to need to work with on your journey to that thing. And so, as opposed to coming from a position of scarcity and lack, and I'm not worthy of this, who am I? Again, it's okay to have those occasional or actually frequent critical thoughts of yourself.
Just don't listen to
Yeah,
them.
just don't let them drive the car.
Just don't listen. Right? Just don't listen to them because they're going to be there.
So, yeah.
They really never go away. I wish I could tell you different, but they don't.
So
You just stop listening to them.
So identify that feeling and just vibrate at that frequency now. Become the person who has already achieved that thing. And again, you're not being boastful and walking into a room and go, "Hey, don't you know me?" But just to have this confidence and this belief in yourself that I'm making this happen. I'm on my way to it. It's just a matter of time where the world catches up to this vision that I have. I experienced this in my early author careers. My earliest books were on music marketing. I was a guy from St. Louis, which is not like an entertainment mecca. I had never worked for a record label or I've been in moderately successful bands locally, but nothing that anybody's heard of outside of St. Louis. And there were people that went, "Oh, how do you think you're gonna? Why is anybody gonna listen to you?" Like, I don't know. I think I got a message. I felt like I had something to say, and actually, one of the people that I interviewed very early in her career, before anybody knew who she was, her first major label album was about to come out in 1993, and I interviewed Sheryl Crow. And I met with her, and I still have a cassette tape of that recording. But I wasn't intimidated because I wouldn't know barely knew who she was. Her album hadn't come out yet. But I remember one of the things that she said. I said, "What drives you?" Because she had to go to L.A. when she didn't know anybody, and she met, I don't know, Don Henley and different people, and started working, networking and doing some stuff out there. And I said, "What keeps you going?" And I just remember she just simply said, "I feel like I have something to say." That's pretty powerful, right there. I felt like I had a way of communicating to other musicians because I was one of them. So I was a fellow musician speaking to other musicians about this marketing thing that I was confused about. And I was learning at the same time, sharing and interviewing successful people and passing on what I'd learned. So that's how I did it. Then I started feeling, yeah, I'm an author. I'm an expert at this. It took a while to get there. It's the same thing when I started teaching and doing workshops after years of playing in bands and playing the guitar and singing and telling jokes as a comic. I was so awkward and just felt like totally out of my element when I started teaching. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. you know, but I eventually, just by continuing to do it,
You got to keep doing it.
yeah, I now,
You got to
I'm,
do it badly.
I'm a pretty good teacher now. I can assimilate information. So here's the thing, and I want you to put this is the final thought here on the believe and become segment. Your ultimate goal is to upgrade your self identity so you make progress because that's who you are. Quite often when we're pursuing goals, we're in that willpower state. I need to do these things because that's what I need to do to get to doesn't come naturally to you. So you got to kind of force yourself into some new habits and behaviors, take those action steps. And so it's a little awkward at first, but eventually you keep doing it, and that your self-identity catches up to where you're not doing it because you have to, and those are the things I'm supposed to do. So you're doing it. I exercise because that's who I am. I eat healthy because that's who I am. I create YouTube videos because that's what I do. That's part of my mission in life. So even if I'm not feeling it maybe every week or at the time, I still, it's just part of my mission. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show you most of the time, but you don't have to be on cloud nine every single moment, right? So let me ask you to put something in the chat. What is the type of self-identity? Because we all have different identities. You might have identity as a parent, as an employee, as a business owner, as an artist, whatever it is. And so you may feel confident, yeah, this is who I am in this area, but I'm a little shaky in this area. What is one of those categories of your self-identity that you think could use an upgrade? I put it in there. I wish I felt more, I became more myself. I embodied the identity of blank. What would that be? I would love to see what some of your responses are there. It's going to be varied for each of us. I'm just curious how they dovetail with mine. Once again, I'm just going to tell you about the Personal Transformation Matrix. Again, it starts this coming Monday is the community version of it, where we're all going to be going through it together. Our first Zoom, even though Monday is the first day, our first Zoom call related to it will be Tuesday night. And in that one, we're going to be unmuted a lot. We're actually the first one, we're going to be getting to know each other, find out more about each other's, where we are and what our goals are. And what motivated us to take the course. And so she's really getting that's part of the community aspect of it that you don't get when it's self-guided. But we're going to be focusing on heal and asking any questions about that. Lisa is going to be instrumental in making sure that you're set up not only for the course, but you're in the high vibe tribe. You know where the discussion forum is that's specifically for the program. And yeah, so in addition to working on the video lessons on your own, you can post 24/7 throughout the week in the discussion forum, and then we'll get together weekly at different times, for different time zones, and we'll discuss how you're doing. We'll celebrate with each other. If you're having challenges, talk about that. Like a lot of times people will be going through this and they drop off and they're not making as much progress as they like, and so they disappear. But no, we want you to come in and lean into it, and we'll lift you up and support you through that, right?
Oh my gosh, it's so much easier to do it together. And actually, there's something that happens in the field when we do it together. We amplify the field, and more amazing things happen. It's just like there's just like more power and energy that's created in the circle. So, yeah, so we're excited.
Carmen says, yeah, I wish I had more confidence in myself. Yeah, that's very common. But ask about your self-identity. Like, where would you like confidence in? Carmen, like I want to be, confident. Was it an author, an artist, an environmentalist, a parent? So that would be nice. And it's just a role that we play. It's one of your many, many, many roles, but maybe identify that. Crystal asks, is there a Zoom call every Tuesday for the 28 days? Right now, we just got Tuesday, the 29th scheduled, and then we're doing the Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So, and then we're going to kind of get a feel for where people are and what time zones we should be hitting, and then schedule 2 more after that. So they're probably going to be like weeknights, like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then some Saturdays, which makes it easy for some people who are in other time zones. Like Debbie won't have to stay up so late if it's on Saturday morning, because it'll be the afternoon for her on Saturday. Angela, I want to be able to express myself in front of a crowd without being nervous. Okay. So I am a public speaker. Therefore, I speak in front of audiences, right?
Right.
And that's something that you cannot intellectualize. I know from being a performer and being that shy kid who was terrified to even speak to people at parties or whatever, that yeah, you can sit there and pump yourself up. I'm confident, I'm confident. And yeah, that helps to do all that mindset stuff and belief and all that. But you really don't learn to be a good public speaker or confident one until you get up and speak.
You just have to start doing it.
Just do it. Yeah. And you can start in smaller, maybe in smaller groups or whatever, something that's more comfortable for you. Pookie's learned to be a singer. She was thrust into it in front of like over 200 people the first time she sang in public.
Right.
Yeah.
That was scary.
That's a whole nother story.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I broke a rib and I couldn't sing, and she offered to sing my part. And,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah.
And
Then it
I
began.
haven't stopped singing.
I desire to be more bold about promoting myself. So I am an effective marketer of my photography and art. And you promote yourself because that you're comfortable doing that. Maybe you might say I am a Well, I guess you can't say I am a marketer, but I'm comfortable promoting myself. Having taught marketing to musicians and creatives for what, 3 decades or something now, I've encountered that a lot. And it really is a mindset shift about coming from a giving perspective than a taking one, for sure, to build my self-confidence, a lot of self-confidence. I wish I was more fearless at times. So, Crystal, you probably won't be surprised to hear me saying that you will never be fearless. It's fear will always be there. It's just how you relate to it,
Right.
how you get on comfortable, friendly
It's a
terms
survival
with it.
technique. You never want to get rid of your fear.
Yeah, because fear can help you.
You want to run from that tiger, but you want to be afraid of that tiger.
And Lisa, I aspire to be more articulate. So I am an articulate
Speaker.
speaker and life coach.
Mhm.
That's really cool. Live my passion every day. You have a beautiful voice, Pookie, says Michelle. Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take my artwork to another level. I would ask you to define what another level is, but I know exactly what you mean. Get it out into the world more, maybe sell more pieces, get it seen by more people. Upgrade. I am a successful life coach would be for Jacqueline. Jack Woolen, Carmen, businesswoman, very cool. Gain self-confidence and better communication skills. All right, very cool. All right, so I think we talked about that. And I also mentioned that discount, even though it's officially, I'm promoting it as ending at midnight tonight. I think it actually is good through tomorrow to the 23rd. So PTM 100, and all that information is on the link that Lisa has been posting in the chat. All right,
Perfect.
so let's move on, boy. We got to wrap things or move things along if we want to keep this to 90 minutes.
Okay.
All right. We did allow and align for the A. We did believe and become for the B. Now, you ready for this? The C, the final one, is co-create and commit. What do we possibly mean by that, huh? All right. So there's different ways of co-creating. And so this is where a lot of this is personal work that you do. You do it mindset stuff. There's actions that you take, but we're going to cover the many different the different ways to co-create. And one of them is co-creating with others. And so that could be partners. Do you have a business partner, or do you have somebody, freelancers, or somebody that you work with, employees, whatever they are? Like Lisa's one of our partners, in addition to being a good friend. There's your supporters. So this could be people who are just friends and associates that encourage you. It could be like a mastermind group. It could be people you meet in the High Vibe Tribe and through this program coming up. Could be investors too, I suppose, if you want to go that route. Other people you could co-create with are your fans and your followers if you're active online. These are people that I co-creating with all of my YouTube viewers and podcast listeners and members of the High Vibe Tribe. If nobody was watching the videos, I would just be it wouldn't matter,
Yeah, but we also co-created videos with them.
Yeah, we have asked.
Right.
You're co-creating with your customers if you're doing something where it's a monetary exchange. So again, just the supportive people. You want to try to attract supportive people.
And you're co-creating with the universe.
Yeah. I was actually going to, before we got to that, do you mind talking about, I think this co-creating with others, just it ties into your involvement with this organization called Unity Earth.
Yeah. So I had been working in my local community for, oh, probably 20 years, and I had been kind of known in my community just because I've been here so long. And I've done, like I said, I've done a lot of things. I did the choir. I've done many, many, many different things in the community. I did ecstatic dance. I did all kinds of artistic things. I had a community center for 6 years and hosted all kinds of events. So I am pretty known in my community in St. Louis in a specific demographic. And yet there was still this like I would see all of these global initiatives, all these bigger global events. And there was just this desire to like support these events or to be involved in some way or just to kind of find my way into these other circles. And so oddly enough, through a chain of events, I ended up being invited someplace where I was speaking, and when you want to talk about being really nervous, before shared, I had 5 minutes on this radio show and I was supposed to sing a song and share a little bit about this song. This gentleman that was going to be going before me, he had this big global organization, Unity Earth, and he was the one I had to pay attention to because he had an Australian accent. As soon as he was going, I knew it was my turn next. I was to him speak, and like how all of a sudden you just dwindle, like all of a sudden I became really, really small. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to get out of here because I don't belong here. All of these people are really big in this global peace movement, global love, this whole thing. But I didn't. I stayed right there because I had another voice that was saying, don't you move, don't you go anywhere. This is all a part of it. And so I spoke and I sang afterward. And Ben asked if he could meet with me. It was that moment where I really pushed myself through past my fear. And I was in a space that was very unknown to me. And it was in that moment that I got the invitation to go to the Holy Land. And I've traveled with this global organization, holding the vision for this global organization. And my life has been changed in ways that I could never, ever imagine just by being connected with all of these powerful visionaries. In fact, we just got back from Japan on a peace mission during Peace Week, and we were in Hiroshima on the International Day of Peace.
Yeah.
And so very, very powerful things. So, it's like, how do we co-create with others? And
And I think you attracted those yourself to that situation because of who you are. You were already becoming that type of person, and that was resonating with people and eventually led you to people that were doing things on a larger scale that you weren't finding locally. But you had to be that
well, yeah,
that love and that commitment to,
absolutely. So I was invited to attend an event as an elder to observe this community of younger people as they were moving through a process. And while I was out in San Francisco doing that, that's where I met some of these people that had bigger visions for the world. And so
which
it
led
was
you,
really, really
yeah.
powerful. But like when we were talking about our why or our passion, our desires, so like my desire, my greatest passion is to be of service and to be of service to love. And so that's what drives everything that I do. I know what my passion is. And that passion has taken me to the most amazing places. And I've been able to co create some really amazing things with others.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just want to acknowledge a couple of comments. Shauna Joy, she basically said that aspires to be fearless. And that's awesome. A state that you aspire to, I'd say go for it for sure. I would just say to you and anyone else, if you feel fear, that does not mean you're a failure or you're less than, because I still feel it. And I've interviewed hundreds of successful artists and authors over the year, and this topic comes up over and over. The refrain that I hear over and over again, if I ask them, I say, oh yeah, that inner voice, but you just keep moving forward regardless. But if you can get there, awesome, go for it. I kind of know that it's part of our human survival system. I kind of accept that it's there. I don't think of it as an evil thing. I've demystified it, or I don't give it the megaphone. I don't demonize it anymore. And I think that in it lessens its power.
I like to
Yeah.
transform it into excitement because it's almost like the same energy. It's so close.
Yeah, butterflies in your stomach.
You can totally, if you can get your brain to switch it in your head, this is excitement, like when you're afraid, just like, oh, that's just excitement. I'm just excited.
Same biological response, just a different
Right,
perception of it.
right. It's just a different perception of the same physical experience.
Cool. And then I know Michelle said having trouble with the commitment part, which we're gonna talk about in our final moments. And I do want to open it up for any Q&A that if we as time allows here. Here's another one I know that you want to talk about. So you're co-creating with others. These are other human beings, but co-create with, I have a list of things here, with the universe, co-creating with the infinite intelligence, with your higher self. Something that Pookie and I actually, this is something that's kind of newer for me, but we were delving into like actually connecting, getting support from angels, spirit guides, ancestors, which I know you've talked a lot about as an elder in many communities, and more. So why don't you talk about the importance of that? Yeah.
So if you choose to embrace this idea, there are invisible helpers that are there to assist us in our journey. Now, for me, I'm totally down with tapping into all of the good that I can. So, like all of the divine, so we're talking about angels and things like that. So, there's co-creating with the infinite intelligence of the creation, right? We can co-create with that. I say that the universe is conspiring on our behalf. When we start to have a vision for something that we want, the universe begins to put it together for us, when we have those feelings and that anticipation and that excitement. I also believe that we do have a higher self, a self that is with us, that knows all the things that my 3D body doesn't really kind of understand, but my self knows. And so I can rely on that wisdom too. I can also rely on what I'm learning, and it's kind of new to me. But I'm learning about the angelic realm and how they surround us and they protect us, and they can also assist us. And so I like to tap into like these. What are some of the things that we have access to that can also assist us in our journey of calling these things forward? So I do believe in like speaking to my ancestors and to my guides. I've never really had a relationship with the angelic realm, but I'm open. And so
We're listening to an audiobook by Sonia Choquette, who we met at the Hay House conference back in March.
And it's very thorough, and she does a really great job for like a beginner who's just now beginning to understand these things. She has a book. It's called Ask Your Guides, and it's very, very well done. She's done a really good job of putting it together to give you an understanding. And it's really, really powerful. So I say that you can co-create with those invisible energies too, if you're open to that, or if you feel like you have access to that or want to have access to that. There's all different kinds of ways that you can.
And even if you're not certain about this whole spirit guide, angel thing, because I'm a very practical guy, very like science. I like to see evidence of things, so that's why I like the research that goes into a lot of the personal development stuff. So I'm like, are there really angels? I don't know for sure. But even if it's like a symbolic ritual or whatever, that puts you in the right mindset where if you feel like I'm getting help and you believe that, or at least get yourself in a state where you're not just always slugging through it on your own, if that can help you, why not? I'm open to it. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief just to experiment with it. And I might get signs or experiences where I go, oh, this is real, and I actually have in some ways.
Because what could it hurt, right? What could it hurt? I mean,
couple more notes here with co-create and commit. Meet the universe halfway. So if you put out this energy and you believe in law of attraction, you're putting out this vibe and things are coming to you. Don't just sit back. You have to meet the universe halfway. It's doing its part, but you got to step up and take action, take baby steps, be proactive in the 3D world and doing things and interacting with other humans and putting stuff out there online or whatever, however that looks for you. but it's not just a matter of vibrating with that and it's going to show up in my lap. It might, maybe it will, but with everything I've always accomplished, it took some activity.
Well, taking action is what activates the field. For
Yeah.
me, it's what tells the universe that you're really serious and that you really want this. I think that taking action is so important. And when we're talking about co-create, and we're now to the commit part, what I would like for you to commit to is commit to staying the course.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is by staying the course, commit to forward movement. Don't commit to the end result. Because if you commit to the end result in the process of your forward movement, another opportunity arises. If you're committed to that end result, you might not take that opportunity. And maybe the reason that you're going down this path is that opportunity. So be open, like even though you have this idea of where you're going to land, be open to those inspired nudges that you get,
Yeah.
right?
And for me, what works is I do have a clear end goal in mind when I start with, because it gives me taking specific actions toward a specific goal. If it was just like a random thing about, I just want to help people, but I'm not clear about how I want to do that, I'm going to be meandering all over the place. But if it's like, oh, I want to put out a book, I want to do a YouTube, if there's a specific goal, then I do specific things. But I don't get attached to the outcome. I stay open to possibilities. So many things have happened that I never would have planned for in my life. People I met, experiences, even putting out affirmations on YouTube. I never saw that as opening up the whole new chapter of my life, but I did it and I followed the energy.
Yeah, follow the energy. Pay
Yeah.
attention.
So again, we're going to come back to this big, bold, bodacious goal. We're about to wrap up here. Be devoted to one primary goal at a time. That's my biggest suggestion. Don't try to spread yourself too thin like I did in my 20s. I was doing all those things and everything was kind of mediocre, as far as but when I focus
Right.
on one thing, then that thing can expand. And engage in something I talk about: consistency and repetition over time. I don't know, I might be a rare breed. I don't know if different people not be able to commit to things. I think it was Michelle that said that was an issue for her, but when I really put my sights on something, I'll stick to it. Just by doggedly pursuing this whole internet thing back when I wanted to build my reputation as an author. But that music newspaper that I started when I didn't know what I was doing, I just didn't do it for a year. Like a lot of other publications came and went, and 3 years was kind of an average for a new like local independent paper. I did it for a decade. I actually put it to rest on the 10-year anniversary because was getting kind of burned out by that point and wanting to pursue the book thing. My earliest books had come out by then. But this whole thing is sharing my message online, even though the message has evolved over time. I mean, there are people that have been observing me for years, like going, "Man, God, I've been following you for like 20 years. You're still at it." I'm dedicated. When I'm passionate about something, I stay dedicated. So there's consistency and repetition over time. So consistency in my message and what I'm promoting at any given time. So for 15, 20 years, I was all about music marketing and things for creative people. Late in the past 8 years or 7 or 8 years, it's been YouTube and affirmations and inspirational messages, and I just doggedly. So yeah. So even with a busy schedule, you just carve out what are your priorities. I don't have a perfect week. I actually there's a list here on my wall. If I had the perfect week, this is the types of content that I would post on all these different sites and YouTube and all this. I think in a year, I'm lucky if I've had 2 perfect weeks, maybe one. I don't even. But I have priorities. I know where am I going to make the most impact and what's going to financially benefit our household. And I know what those things are. It's getting YouTube videos out. It's getting the audio versions of those into my podcast. It's sending messages to my email list. And then I do as much social media as time allows. So if something slips on one of those lower priority things, it's okay. But as long as I stay focused on the priority stuff, I'm doing the good work I'm meant to do. So that's our final message. What is one act? Go ahead and put it in there. What's one little baby step that you're commit to doing here? What little baby step that you're going to take toward your big, bold, bodacious goal? And actually, I'm going to open it up. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Does anybody have any questions or comments? You want to share an action step you're going to take? You want to share something that you learned, a little nugget here in our final moments together? Say maybe hi to some folks that we didn't say hi to earlier. Like there's Um, I know Jacqueline's been commenting. Jacqueline, did we see you on Sunday mornings too?
Yes, you do.
Oh, that's
Yes,
yeah. Have we met you on Zoom before?
no, you have not.
Okay, so it's the first time we're hearing your voice, huh?
Oh, that's good.
Well, welcome.
Awesome. It's so good to see you here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything you want to share about an insight that you had from joining us tonight?
I, I just feel like it's so affirming. Things you're sharing in the language you're sharing it's been in my heart and in my mind, and it's now being spoken. So I'm very grateful to you. I'm grateful to the whole group. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Oh, thank
that's
you,
awesome.
Jacqueline.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I love it. And I want to say hi to Shonda. I know she's using a different name there, but I recognize the photo. Can you still go by Shonda?
I do. I go by Sister Sankofa, also known as Shonda.
Okay.
Well, that's my spiritual name, Sister Sankofa. So, Sister Sankofa comes from the Twi verbiage of the Ghanaian people, and it means to go back and get what you have left behind.
Hmm.
So, that's what I'm doing. I'm a reparations activist, and I actually work as a professional activist.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I do here in Montpelier, Vermont. And I'm so excited to finally join up with you guys because I haven't been on your platforms in a while. And I'm really stoked because you have been saying what I tell people all the time: positive people, places, and things.
Oh, yeah. The gratitude. Yeah.
And just to be positive and enlightened all the time. I went through a really dark period recently. I lost someone who was very, very close to me. They took their own life.
Mm.
And that has really, really been an energy drain for me and sadness, like just significant sadness. Listening to the affirmations that you have put out there and you and Pookie do your Sunday vibe has really helped me to stay afloat because I was almost ready to really give up on life and people.
Yeah.
But I'm just so grateful and thankful for the work that you all are doing. And I just want to tell people to stay positive no matter what. Really find your support systems of positive people, places, and things because it really helps to get that energy vibe to a good place.
Definitely. Yeah. I've talked, I think it was in some recent gratitude videos talking about there's actually 4 categories. It's people, places, things, and also personal aspects of yourself, like your accomplishments or insight, just that personal growth that you've experienced. You should pat yourself on the back for that too. Even though I'm the positive thinking guy, I also firmly believe in when you're sad, there are situations like you went through where you have a legitimate reason for being sad or frustrated and depressed, and allow yourself to fully feel those things. And as you know, it's only temporary. I mean, depending on the severity of the circumstance, it could last a little while, and understandably so, but you can get back to joy, but don't bury those feelings. Fully feel them, and then as time allows, you can get back to the joy. The gratitude.
Well, that's what I'm determined to do. And I'm just so thankful and grateful for all the beautiful work that you all do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Sankofa. So appreciate you.
Indeed. Yeah. It's good to have you back here, and hope we connect again.
Yes,
soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks. Does anyone else want to say anything about their thoughts tonight? You should be able to unmute yourself. Thought I saw Cherie hitting that earlier. There she goes. Hey there,
Hi.
stranger.
Yeah, I was a stranger for a little bit. Had some health issues, but getting past that. And I realized something that you said is like be proactive. And I am online. I haven't been on Facebook because of health issues. But people that know that I'm a photographer, they're like, "Oh, are you still doing that?" Well, yeah, I do it every day, as I'm freelance. And I need to get more of my creative work out there, not just my photojournalism with the paper, or, I do other photography, but do more of the creative work. And that's what I hope to inspire other people with, is to do something that they thoroughly enjoy. I mean, I enjoy the photojournalism. Not everybody can do it, because not everybody realizes how much computer work there is with it. You go to all these fun events and then you might spend 4 hours doing computer work.
Right.
But to me, it's worth it. To some people, it wouldn't be. But anyway, you just got my thought patterns going. I need to be out there more, show my work, because it is a physical thing that they can see. And when I do post some things on my Facebook, I get a lot of comments. So
Yeah.
that,
I think being visible, because again, I taught marketing for many years. Being visible, sometimes people think like they're bragging or they just feel vulnerable putting themselves out there. I know there are people on the call here who feel that way, but really you're not only just showing your stuff, which you are doing that, but you're also giving other people permission to express themselves. Cherie's
right.
doing it. I see Bob doing it. I should put my stuff out there too.
Yeah.
We should all not be so shy about sharing our gifts. You don't have to share everything, but if you feel this inkling and it's only being held back by fear, false evidence appearing real, then we need
I
to get.
think mine is the consistency. I need
Yeah.
to be consistent.
Yeah.
And going through a few health challenges that I have, I lost that consistency, because I used to be more consistent. So just
Yeah. There
you've inspired me to get back to that.
definitely
And
things in life that come up, slow us down, but you can commit to getting back on the train as soon as you're able.
yeah,
So thank you, Cherie. It's so great to see you the other day. And
you.
and I showed Pookie that photo. She took a great photo of Pookie holding Keone.
Oh, that's an awesome photo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the
you're very
center.
Thank you.
easy to do.
They're both so photogenic, right?
Yeah.
Anyone else want to say anything before we wrap things up? It's your opportunity to say hi or anything. Debbie, you've already been done on Zoom twice, so we won't put any more pressure on you. Plus, it's 2 a.m. now, or 2:30 or something, where
Mhm.
she is. So yeah, if there's no other, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording now. I won't end the call, just end the recording.